Hello and welcome everyone. You are watching PBTV in our new series Patrol Base Live. So this new podcast format, we are going to get in Airsoft's biggest brands, biggest names, players, everything like that. And today we are joined by a very, very special guest who I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm One Legion UK Kitty.
So me and Kate have known each other for quite a while, so we thought it'd be a bit easier knowing someone with a bit of a background between us. And I know we've played alongside each other many times in the past, being part of the same team, going to different sites, etc., and things like that. So if you do have any questions, by all means ask them, and we'll make sure we can try and get as much information across as we can. But this is just going to be about the player, how they've grown in the sport, how they have seen the sport maybe change over the last few years. But again, we'll start it off with the age-old question that we ask most people when they sit in the hot seat is, how did you actually get into Airsoft? I mean, how long ago was it? Was it a voluntary thing, or were you just dragged along?
Well, 5 years ago, my other half decided to take us on Valentine's Day. His whole team were going out and he didn't want to miss it. So he was like, come along, it'll be all right. I had loads of borrowed kit and I enjoyed it, and he's regretted it ever since. Well, his wallet has anyway.
So it looked like one of the most romantic gestures ever. Let's go into a field and shoot all my mates.
Yeah.
And did you have any idea what Airsoft was before then? Obviously, he'd been doing it a bit before that, or...
Vaguely.
Yeah.
We'd watched YouTube videos together and stuff like that, but going to a site, I didn't have a clue what to expect.
There was no, like, he'd been through the platforms with you,
Nope.
So you were just borrowing everything, thrown into a field,
Yep.
and left to your own devices.
Yeah.
And did he actually even sort of just hang around with you, or did he just throw you in right at the deep end?
He just gave us all the kit and he just chucked us in. He was like, right, get on with it.
So 5 years. So some people have only been in the sport a very, very short period of time. 5 years it's a long period of time, but in that time, have you sort of seen Airsoft change from your point of view? So has it become more accessible, do you think, or do you think do you think it's about like mainstream, or do you think it's still a bit niche and people have to be shown it rather than maybe discover it, like you were thrown in at the deep end?
I think it's more known now than it was when I started playing. That might just because I didn't really know of it then. But even when I speak to people who I work with, they've heard about it or something like that. So it is more known now than it was years and years ago.
And do you think it's more accessible? Do you think there's a more sort of... so you used to get like stag do's and stuff, just go, we'll go paintballing, or do you think there's a bit of a shift where it's a bit more known and people start going Airsoft instead of things like that, and it's allowing more people to get into the sport and grow it, which is great. We've also put a load of gear behind Kate right now. It's not just props, this is actually all your stuff. I think some of it's your other half's stuff, but is claimed by you sometimes. We can go through that. We have got obviously viewers watching, so we have got our first viewer question coming in. It's Reaper, one of our regulars. Hi Kitty, what is your gun of choice? Perfect timing. Reaper's always there with the sort of on the ball questions most of the time. So either the stuff that you've brought behind you, or just in general, have you got the choice that you'd go for every game day, or do you like to bounce around your armoury a little bit?
At the minute, it's the Wolverine MTW.
Yeah.
It is Dane's, but it's mine really. I've kind of claimed it, and everybody will say that it's mine now as well. It's HPA. It's flawless. It's a fantastic platform. I really enjoy it. When I first started, I did have a Tippmann M4.
Yeah.
And the slide check and everything was horrible to use. So I kind of got away from HPA then.
So the slide check for people watching, there's when you're actually connecting it up, there's a bit on the line that you've got to make sure sealed or unsealed, and if you undo it at the wrong time, it can vent all your air and things like that. It's a good idea, but if you're not keen on that little bit, it can cause a few problems. But the line coming out the bottom, it's just a straight QD connector on the Wolverine now. So and efficiency wise, it's quiet, it's range and things like that. It's a hugely modular system as well. So the actual engine itself it's for the MTW only, but you can add all sorts of parts to it and everything like that. But is it just obviously it's quite lightweight, it's got the range, you can adjust the FPS. What about that sort of tips it over the edge compared to like your Scar or something else that you use?
To me, it's the lightweightness of it. I mean, you have got the extra weight of your tank on your back, but you don't really notice that once you start playing. And it's bang on. Yeah. You can set your sight and you know where it's going to go. So
it's the lightweight and consistency is the good thing.
Really good, yeah.
There's a couple of other bits up there. So we've got the MP7, we've got the Scar down below as well, just hiding behind Kitty as well. So that's the TM Scar. So before the MTW, that was what I usually saw you cut around most fields with.
Yeah.
But the MTW seems to have overtaken that a little bit.
It has, yes.
Yeah. And again, it's another thing is the MTW out the box. You don't really have to do to it. The TM, has that been?
The TM's fully upgraded.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Airsoft upgraded that. It got upgraded. I used it. I broke the gearbox. I stripped all the gears, so then it had to go back up. The only thing I didn't have put in it was the MOSFET,
right?
Which is for the trigger, but I didn't think I really needed that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because you can. There's all sorts now. There's like the BTC. There's the gate version of it as well. So you've got a lot of choice now. But yeah, it's that thing with the TMs. People, they are still amazing out the box, but to get to this fabled level, there is still a lot of stuff you can do to them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion whether or not it's necessary a lot. I've used that. I've seen it used, and it's very, very good. I've seen the MTW used, and I've seen the MP7 used. So they all have a place, and we've also got a couple of your rigs out as well.
Yep.
So there's the MTP one, and we've got the black one down here. So what are these, and what puts you towards plate carriers rather than sort of other setups?
More protection, really.
Yeah.
I've tried chest rigs are good in the summer when it's quite warm. But I like the protection of a plate carrier rather than getting me back shot.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So you can have maybe like a Haley or something, but you just want something on the back because
but also as
getting shot in the kidneys hurts.
The tank as well for the MTW.
HPA, yeah. So what brand are them ones?
These are Warrior Assault System.
And it's all a full Warrior setup. It's not just an amalgam of bits and bats. You've had that Warrior, all built as and when. And obviously with things like your rig and stuff like that, do you usually sort of match up your setups? Like you've got MTP, you've got Black Multicam. Do you have sort of preferred like gear, camo and stuff like that?
I go through phases. I just whatever I fancy putting on the day, I just
Airsoft trends.
Yeah, I just stick it on.
I've got the marker saying we've got another viewer question. Do you prefer CQB? Woodland, or do you just play any site in general? It's another one from Reaper. So it's sort of almost a double question. That it's what sites do you regularly play, and do you prefer CQB and Woodland? So I know you're sort of regular up north with Dirty Dog, obviously Proving Grounds and things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of Woodland, but I know Dirty Dog's a very sort of individual kind of site. There's some very, very tight corners in that place.
Dirty Dog is more CQB. I'm going to say I don't like full site games at Dirty Dog.
Right.
Just it's very hilly, but I prefer the CQB and the containers, and I like fast-paced games. Really gets the blood flowing.
Yeah. So people haven't been there. Sort of Dirty Dog it is quite hilly. I've played there a couple of times now. It is an outdoor site, so you would call it on paper a woodland site.
Yep.
It's like dirt tracks, dense sort of bush lines, open fields, but they then have a what they call ISO container sort of little village and city type thing.
Yep.
So usually when I went, they played a couple of different games, but you're saying they do like full site games as well?
They do, yeah.
I can say that's probably quite hard on the legs.
It is,
Yeah.
and especially when it's muddy.
Oh.
It's probably muddy 70% of the time, hence the name Dirty Dog. And it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's really hard work, yeah.
I know cutting around them ISO containers, we did, it was quite a small, fast game, but you had to sort of push all the way around. And there's multiple levels in this site as well. So not playing there before, you try to be quite aggressive and fast with it being CQB, but because there's so many levels, you can get past, then get shot in the back, and then twist it around, try and go the other way, and not knowing it. But I can say, playing it a lot of times, you probably know all the little nooks and crannies and get used to it and know all the sneaky spots.
Can say every week there's always something different. They always changing the site.
Yeah.
Putting new windows in, doors. So even though you know the sneaky little spots, one
They
week
could
you
change,
might go,
yeah.
they
And
might
then you
have
get-
completely changed,
and then you get
you're
bit
like,
of-
oh no.
So one of the questions that we had down is as well, obviously, we're both part of the same team. So One Legion Milsim UK, we have branches sort of all around the world. We've got one. It started in America. We've got a branch over here. There's about 10 of us over here. We've got people in South Africa. We've got people in Puerto Rico now. We've got people in Holland. When you obviously we brought you in a few years ago now, and our ethos is that whole lead by example and do it like that. What's your sort of take on the sort of international sort of community over like the UK one? Has it changed your view on being able to speak to other people and things like that? Do you think the sort of each country has a sort of very unique airsoft sort of culture? If what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of ethos.
Yeah.
So obviously being in the UK, you see that a lot more. But yeah, how's it been since you've joined Legion and had that sort of?
I've been welcomed as part of a family, really. It's not a team, it is a family. Even though I haven't met many of One Legion, I know that I can have the support there from them. If I need to ask any questions, people want to answer, the support is always there, even though I've never met probably more than half of them.
Yeah, I think there's about 70 now.
Yeah.
After Puerto Rico joined, there's about 70. But yeah, growing strong, and it sort of sits in a really nice place, I think, right now. So, what brand could release anything, and you'd probably go for it?
It's a mix between Warrior Assault System and Tokyo Marui.
Yeah, just anything they do. It's
anything they do. Yeah, I'm a fangirl. Yeah.
So go into the Warrior then, if you wanna grab your black rig.
Yeah.
So obviously you were on about it's more about having the back protection, front protection, everything like that. So what is it about Warrior particularly that makes it just almost like an auto take or an auto include in your loadout?
It's just good quality gear.
Yeah.
You know you're getting the quality even before you've bought it. Well, from probably a year into Airsoft, I've got my first Warrior, and since then it's just been. I would buy different brands, but I would always go back to Warrior.
Yeah. Is it something that you tried before? Is it the gear that Dane lent you? Was that Warrior stuff,
No,
or
it wasn't.
had you tried it or anything like that?
No.
You'd seen any of it and you just got hold of one and then you were sold on it. It was as is. So obviously this has the platform, the plate thing on the front.
Yeah.
So you can swap it out. Obviously with you having the MTW and SCAR and things like that, means it's quite easy to swap between your loadouts as well.
It is, yeah. These Swift clips, so they just clip off.
Yeah.
You've got Velcro, and you can just attach a new front panel to it. Obviously, the back is your.
Is that for your bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that actually that's not just a cover on there?
This one is. I haven't got a backpack for it yet.
So that one's got the backpack on it,
yeah.
And then you've got the dangler on the front for any accessories and bits and bats like that.
Yeah, I usually put my speed loader in there.
Oh, speed loader in there. And then we've got a belt rig as well, so...
So the belt at the minute I'm using is FRV tailoring.
Yeah.
It's got Velcro, so you've got it in a belt,
So you put a bit, you go doing the
and
inner
then
belt
you
system thing.
velcro this to your inner belt for the outer belt. I'm using the Kydex Customs
High cap holster.
It's light bearing as well, so it's got the torch on.
It's quite hard to find a holster for a torch mounted system at the moment as well.
Then I've got the Warrior Assault System pistol mag pouches, the Deadly Customs grenade pouch, and I'm using my Oshi Boom at the minute with the 3-shot base on the bottom.
There's plenty of gear to go around, and especially like you're saying CQB and everything like that. You've got an answer to everything there. We do have another viewer question just dropping in. How do you find the size of the Warrior? I'm very heavy built and need a very big adjustable plate carrier. So the Warrior system, how adjustable is it? Is it?
I've got the small to medium.
Yeah.
And I've got it probably to the smallest setting it'll go.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot of give in it. You can take it out. I don't think I've ever found anybody too big for a Warrior.
Yeah. So it's not a one size fits all. They do have size ones.
They do, yeah.
So and I presume that they'll have it'll be marked up and labelled, etc. But yeah, again, very specific to gear and things like that. Do you think that there is enough, or do there need to be a slight change in sort of gender clothing? Obviously, whether or not it's trousers, shirts, plate carriers, anything like that. Have you ever found it awkward or difficult, or had to adjust anything to get it to fit correctly? I know my other half's always said that trousers can be a nightmare.
It's very hard to find trousers unless you've got money to drop on Cry.
Yeah, Cry have just said that they're going to bring out the female stuff, but
not a lot of companies that do female orientated combats or anything. I mean, you can get Revolution Race, but they're more walking trousers rather than combats.
Yeah, so you're not getting the knee pads, you're not getting things like that. And then plate carrier wise, comfort and everything with them. Do you think that they could make any changes with things like that, or are you quite happy with how the Warrior is?
I'm really happy. I've just got the foam plates in because obviously it moves more to my shape.
Yeah.
But you can get weighted plates that fit them and stuff if you wanted weighted plates.
So yeah, obviously sticking with like the gear and things like that, you've got you've done your setup and your belt rig and stuff like that. Any other sort of something that you've maybe not brought here, but something that you'd say was essential that you take to game days that's that you're not going to leave the home, whether it's even your boot style, comms, anything like that you generally think is an auto take to a game day?
Headset. I don't very rarely go to a game day without a headset. I mean, Dirty Dog, obviously a lot of bangs in the containers, it does hurt your ears. So.
And that's more for hearing protection rather than comms and anything like that. It's ear protection rather than radio setups and things like that. And again, using the Oshi Boom, tremors and things like that, it's a useful thing. So a couple of things that we've thought of before going live as well. When it comes to what is essentially a very, very male dominated sport, have you ever sort of maybe not a negative experience, but have you ever thought that certain things could change in the sport, or had any bad experiences because it is such a male dominated sport?
To be fair, on site I've never had any kind of negativity, but I think that's just because I go along with my other half and obviously you guys as well. It's more online that you get a lot of negativity. A lot of trolls are online from men as well, not just females. But yeah, online's probably more so for me than it is. So
do you think that, again, this goes back to like the original question, like how you started and things like that, and accessibility. Do you think Airsoft, I've noticed over the last couple of years there are a lot more female airsofters, a lot more. But is that because there's been a bit of a change in the waves, or do you just think that they're a bit more stronger individuals, or has it become more accessible, or do you just think it's kind of stayed the same and it's become a wider sort of community, therefore we're going to catch more females coming into it?
I think it's become more accessible. I think when I first started, if there was more females were playing, I probably would have started sooner. But there wasn't very many females playing when I first started.
No.
But there is now. And you see more and more females turning up to game days as well, so which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's even proving grounds last weekend. There was 5 or 6 women there, and again, that's a huge increase in compared to what you'd see maybe 2-3 years ago, with maybe 1 or 2 on site at any time. But we've got another viewer question. Hello, what do you think of the new SIG MPX? Would you run it? So we just actually conveniently did a shoot with the MCX through there. But if you've seen the MPX, it's basically the same, but a 9mm version.
Right.
So obviously, like you were saying, CQB, a sort of very popular game style. There's the MP7 up there. Is that something that you'd look at in the future? Sort of maybe a bit more of a dedicated CQB platform.
It could be, yeah. I'm really impressed with the MCX.
So if it's a similar system, but 9mm, it'd be really cool.
That's probably one of me wants, MCX.
The MCX?
Yeah, so I probably could see myself running one, yeah.
So, and again, with sort of the CQB stuff and similar to the MCX, is there any other platforms that you're thinking of maybe Dane getting but you owning? Because obviously if he's lost the MTW, he might need to replace something. Is there anything down the line that you think might take your fancy?
I'd like an MWS as well.
Ooh. Gas blowback's a popular thing right now.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Sticking to 5.56, or would you do what I've done to mine? Convert it to 9mm.
Probably stick to 5.56.
And again, with gas, have you had much experience with gas, like running it throughout the year or anything like that? Obviously,
just with the MP7, I don't tend to run that in the winter. No, it's more of a summer gun. and
it's always the MTW now, regardless.
Yeah.
So looking again, part of the international team and everything like that. Sites that you've been to, so there's, apart from like say Dirty Dog or Proving Grounds, any plans to sort of travel and go other places or things like that? Where would you like to see yourself going in the next couple of years?
I'd like to go to America.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd love to do a milsim in America. Just by watching the videos and stuff from the guys, it looks amazing. Totally different to what it is over here. I'd also like to go to France as well. And the Netherlands looks really good for airsoft.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think what we will do, we will take our short little break now. So if you do have any questions, please continue to drop them in, and we will come back with a much broader spectrum of things to ask. But we'll be back in about 15 minutes, so don't go away.
Now, my daddy didn't teach me nothing about much. But he told me that your AEG is either working hard or hardly working. With our wide range of AEG replacement and upgrade parts, you can give your AEG the TLC it deserves. You would have made Daddy proud.
Come on guys, we're days away from our Christmas promotion. We need content. Sam, what you got?
Right, okay, so it's dark, cinematic, lens flare everywhere.
Wait. What does this have to do with Christmas?
Well, we can easily make it more Christmassy.
No, not good enough.
I think I might have something.
Hit me.
We could kidnap Stu.
How exactly are we promoting Christmas with that?
You know what? I'm not sure. Come back to me.
Yeah, sure. Look, I'm going to make this simple. I'm going to go around the table. Gina, you haven't said anything yet.
How about Patrol Base the musical?
No. Next. Sam?
Chariot skydiving.
No. Next.
We could sell more speed soft gear.
Damn, he's quick.
Wait, I've got it.
Yes.
Okay, so picture this. It's just a normal game day. Everyone is packing up.
No, we are not kidnapping Stu. Guys, please, give me something, anything. You're all as useful as dancing fools.
That's it.
That's one.
I've got the idea. We use the power of dance. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, yeah.
We could do something like last year, in the warehouse.
Does anyone else want to waste my time?
Sir?
Ian, if this ends with you dancing on my table, I'll stop you now.
No, sir. Why don't we just put thousands of pounds worth of gift vouchers on our website? I mean, Christmas is the season of giving, right? So we can give back to our community. We can make this Christmas great. Maybe this could really help, you know? We could be a real change in the world. Finally, a company giving back to their customers, flying in the face of a capitalistic society. We can do better. We will do better.
Right, now that he's gone, maybe we can come up with something a bit... I've got it. Why don't we, now stay with me here, why don't we hide discount codes on the website? We could hide them on pages.
I like it.
Genius. This is Billy. Billy wants to buy a new airsoft gun. He seems to have his eye on the Tokyo Marui Scar L. Is that right? But Billy's seen the price. Is that a bit out of your price range, Billy? Well, not to worry, because Patrol Base has many finance options available. From interest-free finance to buy now, pay later, we can find an option right for you. In store, our staff can talk you through the options, and using our handy portal, you can fill out all the details needed. If you can't make it to our store, you can take advantage of all of our finance options online. Simply complete your basket, and in the payment options, select the finance option that best suits you. If you're having any trouble, our helpful customer service staff are just a phone call away. So what are you waiting for? Visit Patrol Base today. For full terms and conditions, please visit patrolbase.co.uk/Klarna-payments. An AEG, or automatic electric gun, uses a battery-powered gearbox to fire a piston and eject a BB from the barrel. Most new players start with an AEG as they offer reliable performance all year round. Please note, not all AEGs come with a battery or charger. To find out, check the Package Includes section in the product description.
At Patrol Base, we believe every airsoft gun deserves a home. Even the ones that have been left, battered and bruised. These guns don't need donations, they need homes. Visit our Boneyard section today, because you're not just getting an amazing deal, you're helping save an abandoned airsoft gun.
Gas blowback, or GBB, is a system most common in gas pistols and requires more maintenance than AEGs. With pistols, the replica uses some of its gas to propel the slide back, cocking the weapon and imitating its real-life counterpart. With rifles, the extra gas is used to fire the bolt back. Because these parts are moving, it is recommended the contact points are kept lubricated with silicone oil.
Don't fall short on your next airsoft game. Stock up your airsoft supplies at Patrol Base and enjoy our generous bulk buy discounts. Shop now.
A hop-up, found in most airsoft guns, applies an adjustable amount of backspin to the BB, keeping it travelling in the air for longer. This can be controlled in a few ways, the most common being gear, rotary, and slider systems. To find out which style of hop-up a replica has, please see the product specification in the description. MOLLE, which stands for Modular Lightweight Load Carrying Equipment, is a universal attachment system across clothing and tactical equipment, for example chest rigs, pouches, backpacks and more. Two main styles exist, one being the traditional loop and the other the more contemporary laser cut, which is lower profile. Both are interchangeable.
Morning ladies and gents, I'm Stuart from Patrol Base.
I'm Pete and this is Mike, we're from Patrol Base.
Hi, I'm Sam from Patrol Base.
Rail systems come in 3 common styles. These are RIS, M-LOK and KeyMod. RIS, or Rail Integration System, is denoted by its rows of 20mm rails, making it quick and easy to add attachments to your replica. KeyMod, easily identified by its keyhole-shaped notches, is a widely used alternative to RIS and features a more subtractive design, making for a much more comfortable grip. M-LOK, like KeyMod, is also subtractive and more comfortable than RIS, using long rectangular slots on the rail to hold your attachments on tight. Both KeyMod and M-LOK normally feature a RIS top rail for optics and have RIS adapters available.
And welcome back. So we have had a few questions drop in whilst we've been on our break. So we'll go straight to a viewer question. Reaper, would love to see you guys at Battle Station Snetterton. So there's somewhere to put on the list of places to go. Unfortunately, I don't actually know the site. But yeah, we can definitely put on the cards. Try and get the team there as a big group. That'll be really, really good. But yeah, as we keep going, guys, if you've got any questions, please ask away. But one thing that I wanted to ask Kate as well is, obviously, like we spoke about, like the team and everything, the sort of the international sort of vibe and everything. It's become a bit of a family. But as in general, like Airsoft, obviously you started about 5 years ago. But what has sort of kept you in the sport, or what does Airsoft actually mean to you, rather than it just being a sport or something? Is it a little bit more than that?
Airsoft to me is probably an outlet.
Yeah.
I work in retail, which is quite stressful. But it's just somewhere you can kit up and just be yourself. Nobody judges you. You can just get out there and you just have fun. You enjoy
Forget
yourself.
about the last week.
Yeah, have a laugh, and everybody from all walks of life just
can just get on it.
Yeah, and just have fun.
And do you see that as sort of something that you've discovered throughout sort of playing, and rather than it being something that you needed to sort of, you didn't need to find this outlet, it's just as you've been going through your airsoft career, as people call it all the time, in it, is it just something that you've discovered it's a bit of a stress relief, it's something that you look forward to the end of the week and getting out there and shooting and having a bit of fun?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we spoke earlier about sort of like when you started, we've seen sort of the sort of female side of airsoft change drastically over the past few years. But if you were starting again, or if you knew someone that wanted to start, whether or not it's a female airsofter or not, what advice would you like to give them?
Just go to a site. Everybody's pretty friendly. Ask as many questions as you possibly can to find out as much as you can. Look at people's kit. I'm sure people will let you have a look at different things, and just enjoy yourself. I
have noticed that, especially running sites as well, is 99% of airsofters want to show their kit off. So if you do have a question, you can quite easily go to someone, oh, what's that? And most of the time they'll probably take it out in the field and let you use it a little bit as well. I know I do. I let people play around with kit all the time. So if they want to use it for a bit, by all means, I presume you quite happily let people have a play with stuff that you've got.
We always take more than what we use.
Yeah.
If anybody wanted to have a go, they quite happily to do so. Yeah.
Lend it out, let people get to know what they want, and we can go from there. But we've got another viewer question. What goes behind the scenes with the 1LM team? You're based all over such a tight-knit community. Also looking forward to playing Christmas again with you, Kitty. That's Becca Tunstall on Facebook. So behind the scenes of 1LM, there's not really much behind the scenes. It's just we have a couple of chat groups, we organise where we're going to go, and then we go play, and then we obviously have the international side of things. So I'm lucky enough to be the current leader of 1LM, so they're usually working like three people. We've got the US side and things like that, and in the past we've done charity events with the team helping build up and things like that, but I think Becca's more interested in just playing alongside you again.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we've always had that vibe, being on Instagram and things like that. You're quite open to be messaged if what game days you go into, what sites you go into. Just drop us a message, and if we're about, like Reaper was asking earlier about Snetterton, we're more than happy to jump on the sites and travel to different places.
Definitely.
If we've got the time, we're more than happy to do it.
If work allows it, I'll go wherever.
Yeah. So we've got another one dropping in as well. Sam, would you recommend trying to join or form a team? Is the experience better as a team or running solo? So do you think running at a game day is better as a team, or?
To be honest, at a game day, I just kind of go off and do my own thing.
Yeah.
But it is good to have that support behind you, knowing that.
Just having some like-minded people you can chat to. I mean, I think I'm guilty of it, going lone wolf all the time anyway. So when you are at a game day, by all means, don't believe that you have to sit there and, we're a fire team, we have to stick together. If you want to run off and gallivant over the hills, I think all of us are quite guilty of it, of just disappearing and everything like that. So anything else you'd say to like new players, like gear-wise, things like that, if you want to, like if we grab one of your setups, if we grab the Scar or anything like that, when it comes to setups and things like that, if you wanted to go through it, what is the setup that you've got there now, is it exactly how you want it? Has it built up over time? Have you swapped and changed things? Because one thing I'd like to push to, especially new players, is once they've got a bit of kit, they don't like to change it.
Yeah. And
don't be scared of changing your gear. So is this sort of grown over time, or is it a setup that you just had in mind before you got it?
To be fair, it's grew up over time. I didn't know what I liked when I first started playing, so I've asked many people about things and found out. I've done research and I've just found out what I like, and then I've built it up from there. Yeah.
So do you want to go through what's on it? So this is the Scar H.
It is, yeah. It's upgraded by Kingdom of Airsoft.
Yeah.
Like you say, it hasn't got a MOSFET in. I think the front foregrip is from
just an FMA,
just a cheap one, and it's got the Vision King short dot. Because it's got really good range, I've gone for the short dot rather than just a red dot sight.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we did take the slings off it because we didn't want it to all tie up with the thing, but you are definitely a fan of putting a sling on absolutely everything.
Well, I'm scared in case I
drop it. So then if we move on to the MTW.
MTW has got
is it the Vortex or a Vector?
It's a Vector.
So it's a Vector short dot.
Maverick, I think it is.
I was so impressed when they turned up. The Vector optics stuff's just insanely
really good.
Yeah.
Its torch is just a generic torch. It's not a certain make or anything like that. And it was painted by our teammate Ronan.
Oh, he likes to paint all that stuff. Wow, he's definitely painted a few of my bits and bats as well. So, yeah, and again, you can see the sort of setup being quite specific. So the Scar, you've picked its loadout because of its range and everything like that. Obviously, the MTW still has its range, but is it more your go-to when you're doing like the CQB and things like that? So the dot sight is a little bit of a better choice when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I've kind of gone to like flip to sides over the short dots. The Vector short dots are incredible. I think you've got a Vision King on there.
I have, yeah.
Amazing bits of kit, but again, I've just gone to that magnifier and setup now. Do you see these sort of staying as they are, or are there any tweaks or anything that you kind of want to make to them, or things that you might change in the future?
At the minute, I'm pretty happy with what I've got. Yeah. There will be some things that I change, but I haven't got any in mind at the minute.
Sort of a bit more of a wider topic, probably left this close to the end just because it could be a different thing, and it's probably something that's far more personal to you than me, is just generally women in airsoft. Do you see that community being quite strong at the moment, being quite a positive place to be, or is there anything that you'd like to try and change in it at the moment?
To be fair, I think it is more tight-knit than it used to be. I know a lot more women and more of the girls that play airsoft now, which I didn't back then. Which we have started to build friendships and stuff, so it is better than it used to be. And as the sport grows, it's just only going to get better. And if there are any women out there, Kate's very, very welcome to messages. She's more than happy to help people. If you want to get into the sport, there's loads of opportunities like that. Do you is there sort of mini communities like Facebook and stuff like that? Do women have sort of places where they can go and get information that are... There is a Facebook page for Women of Airsoft. I don't tend to go on Facebook a lot anyway. I just don't like it. But there is specific pages for women in airsoft. And
then there's Instagram as well. You can just message anyone and get all the stuff that you want.
Every one of them I've met have been lovely.
And like we were saying, like Proving Grounds last weekend, I think there were six or so. And I think the first objective was you, is it Becca?
It was,
and one other, and it was only women holding the bridge at the start of the game. I don't know where all the guys were at the time. But yeah, it's one of them things that it's a bit of a weird subject to talk about, but there must be some people out there that are a little bit trepidatious about stepping into airsoft, because it is 99% male orientated, and it might be very hard to either stand out or be accepted in that kind of a sport. And when you go to game days, it's not the negative things that I were on about earlier, but if you're running around, do you think guys are that bothered? They'll run alongside you, they'll fight alongside you, they'll do anything. You don't really see it as, women can't play this. It's nonsense.
I've never come across anybody that said, oh no, it's a girl playing airsoft. I haven't come across that. I just get stuck in and I just enjoy myself. If people don't like that, then that's it.
But it's that whole thing. And I think this is the main thing that I'm trying to get out of it, is there's a lot of things said online and talked about online, but when you actually go to a game day, it's completely opposite.
It is. It's completely different to what is online.
What's online is, and this is again aimed at those people trying to start and go, oh, what's it like going to a game day? What's this? And they'll go online and they'll read all this stuff. But if you go to a game day, you'll realise that the people at the game day are very, very different to the people that are online. And by all means, like, come and talk to people. You'll have all your gear out and you're like, oh, what's this? I'm quite happy to show it off and do whatever. But yeah, so we've looked at favourite sites, we've looked at favourite brands. Obviously, you are very sort of M4 sort of focused. Can you ever see yourself maybe snipers or LMGs or maybe a completely different loadout?
I've tried sniping. I don't like it. I prefer to run around like a...
I think it's a little bit like me. It's an enemy player is a little bit like a dog seeing a squirrel. I'm going to go for him. LMGs is something I might have looked at, but I think sniping's a little bit too patient for me. I'm a little bit too impatient.
I don't like sitting back. I really don't.
But yeah, so we've covered a lot, CQB and things like that. Anything else on the cards in the future that you might get Dane to buy? Apart, you mentioned the MWS, but gear wise, not necessarily guns or anything like that.
I'm pretty happy with what I've got. I want a new belt in the new year. But apart from that, I think I'm pretty happy.
It's always good to get to that stage where you're quite happy with gear and not going, oh, I want this. But yeah.
But we have had to settle ourselves down a little bit because we were spending far too much. But
it's always good having a hobby where you can do that.
It is.
and again, it goes back to these people that are starting out. Be aware that you don't have to get everything straight away. You can grab something, you can add to it, you can tweak it and do something else. But and then after 5 years, you've got a big pile of stuff that you can't use it all.
Yeah.
But we're all guilty of it, and it's really, really good. But yeah, we've covered all the stuff about gender-specific gear. Hopefully that really changes. I mean, like we said, that Cry were bringing out some female pants and things like that. But again, very, very expensive. So hopefully someone else jumps on that bandwagon.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
But if there aren't any other questions dropping in from chat, I think we have covered everything there, and it has been a really, really good chat. Thank you to everyone that joined us today. The result of this will be available on other podcast platforms if you want to re-listen to it, come back, listen to it whilst you're on your favourite treadmill or something like that. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to Kate. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll have loads of really cool pictures and stuff coming out very, very soon. But thanks very much, and we will see you very, very soon.